Summer, 1368. A poor man, Zhu Yuanzhang, kneels at his father's grave. Out of the clouds spirals a five-colored bird, singing just once before vanishing. Villagers whisper, Fenghuang, the immortal phoenix. Days later, Zhu becomes the Ming emperor, and that single sighting transforms into a cosmic seal of legitimacy. But why is a bird that never burns, never dies, and never even resurrects the crowning judge of Chinese kings? And what does this mystery mean for us? Travel back before dynasties, before silk and cities, to the forgotten grasslands of ancient China. The air teems with sounds you've never heard. Low bellows, the thud of distant feet. Then, towering above the brush, you spot it. Struthio andersoni, an Asian ostrich, all muscle, height, and wary eyes. It stands as tall as two men, weighs as much as a motorcycle, and for thousands of years, it shares these plains with early humans. Now imagine you're a child, creeping behind elders during a hunt. In the mist, the bird darts past with supernatural speed, enough to spark memories that last lifetimes. One day, its giant eggs, prized for their size and resilience, are found crushed among firestones. Around fires, stories grow about massive, ghostly birds that appear at dusk, omens for mysterious change. Long after the last Asian ostrich ran into extinction, its legend lingered. Neolithic pottery from Gamyao bears scratchy images, birds with tremendous necks, half familiar, half dreamed. In time, those tales, told and retold as the birds themselves vanished, gained color and weight. Ostriches became wonders. Wonders became omens. Omens became the Fenghuang, the bird that judges destiny, bridges heaven and earth, shimmers with virtue, and never truly leaves. This transformation is more than myth, it's adaptation. When something wondrous dies out, humans can't let go. They embalm it in story. The real bird becomes a symbol, rising above time and loss, circling through Chinese imagination for centuries. This is the phoenix's first lesson. When the world changes beyond recognition, memory refuses to die. It lifts, it adapts, it endures, sometimes as a legend perched at the gates of a new empire. It's dawn in the Forbidden City. Golden tiles still drip with night rain. Officials in silk pause beneath a hovering wooden phoenix. This isn't decor. It's a warning and a promise. The Fenghuang is no Western phoenix. Forget flames, it doesn't need to die and rise again. Instead, it's the universe's living checklist. The bird appears only when a dynasty is truly just. Its feathers are the five colors of Confucian virtue: black for duty, white for trust, red for ritual, green for compassion, yellow for ultimate goodness. Each patch is a moral audit, judging everyone from emperor to farmer. Imagine you're running a business, a classroom, or even just a family. Suddenly, any ethical slip, the smallest corruption, the quickest lost temper, and the Fenghuang drifts away, taking the world's blessing with it. That's how ancient emperors felt, as if the sky itself were always watching. When society faltered, the phoenix would vanish from stories, from art, from the edge of dreams. For centuries, aspiring rulers competed for its favor. When reports of Fenghuang sightings swept across the provinces, it was less about ornithology and more about PR, convincing the world that heaven smiled upon order and virtue. Heaven has shown its judgment, decreed the emperor, by sending the Fenghuang to bless my reign. But the bird's real power is subtler, a living reminder that virtue isn't fixed, but must be earned, era after era. The Fenghuang's lesson is universal. Real legitimacy, whether for a king or a community, can't be hoarded or inherited. You have to keep earning it. Lose it, and even myth refuses to stick around. That's why, across centuries, people whispered for the bird's return during times of hardship, not as a cheap miracle, but as proof that goodness could again be found, and that even after darkness, harmony might land softly once more. East of the Wei River, where mists hug the ground, folk tell of a quarrelsome dragon and a solitary phoenix. Loneliness drives them to a tiny island where sparks of rivalry flicker over a dull, ordinary stone. The two bicker, polish, and jostle until, by laughter and friction, the stone transforms into the bright pearl, gleaming with a light that outshines rivers, mountains, and memories. Suddenly, a jealous queen of heaven swoops in, snatching the pearl and casting it into the stars. There, legend says, it became a reflection pool in the Milky Way, a reward for harmony and a reminder of what can happen when rivals unite with purpose. This isn't just marriage counseling in disguise, though today many a Chinese wedding crowns brides with phoenixes, grooms with dragons. It's a message about synergy, not dominance. Yin and yang, power and compassion, building something dazzling neither could achieve alone. Think about any partnership that mattered in your own life. A friend different from you, a business co-founder, a classmate on a project. Chances are the greatest breakthroughs, the bright pearls, came not despite your differences, but because of them. From imperial wedding halls to pop music and murals, the dragon and phoenix endure because we crave that kind of partnership. When you see those creatures twined on ancient robes, palace eaves, or festival floats, it's not just tradition. It's a recurring cultural hope that greatness emerges not from crushing rivals, but collaborating with them. The pearl, the goal, the harmony, the future glows brightest when it's shared. The dragon phoenix tale at its core is a blueprint for coexistence. Empire or relationship, the pattern remains. Struggle, cooperation, unexpected brilliance. Perhaps China's immortal phoenix isn't just history's judge, but each era's invitation. Make something together that outlasts you both. (1046 BCE). Tension crackles in the Wei River Valley. The Shang dynasty has fallen, the Zhou rise, but unrest festers. How do new rulers convince millions that their victory wasn't just luck or force, but fate? The Zhou's answer? Cosmic legitimacy, the mandate of heaven. And the press agent of that doctrine? The Fenghuang. Heaven has signaled its favor, King Wu proclaims. The phoenix is seen in our lands. Suddenly, rebellion is not just rebellion, it becomes mutiny against the cosmos. Court astrologers report pearls falling from the sky. Noble women swear they saw rainbow wings streak past dawn. For 3,000 years, the pattern repeats. Han engraved phoenixes on imperial seals. Tang poets sculpt courtly virtue in verse through the bird's imagery. Ming and Qing marry emperor and empress not just in ceremony, but in dragon phoenix symbolism, sewn into every thread of power. Even today, when you spot the dragon phoenix motif above doorways, on wedding cakes, in business logos, it's an echo of that ancient audit. Are we in harmony with the world's deeper order? Yet all this pageantry boils down to a childlike hope. Maybe, just maybe, a sign from above means this time things won't repeat old mistakes, that a new golden age is possible, if only we stay virtuous. Imagine a modern company replacing board elections with omens, or political campaigns decided by a rare butterfly settling on a candidate's podium. Absurd? Certainly, but the message survives. Real authority flows not just from law, but from trust, from a sensed alignment with something greater than one's self. The Fenghuang, in imperial hands, was PR and deep psychology, a reminder to rulers and ruled alike. Your power comes with a timer. Stay worthy or vanish from legend. Drought grips the land. Cracked earth, shriveled fields, empty wells, echoes of suffering ripple through a village. In these stories, the people don't pray for a bargain. They pray for sacrifice. And the Fenghuang answers. On the hottest day, with crops flickering toward death, a watchful elder spies a feathered shape soaring toward the white, hot sun. As the bird soars higher, the sun's heat kindles its tail. Feathers ignite, not to kill, but to transform. Charred plumes vaporize into rolling clouds. A cool wind rises. From the ashes, rain falls. Villagers race outside, arms raised to the storm. In every puddle floats a blackened feather, remains of the Fenghuang's gift. They don't find a corpse, but traces. Reminders that hope is birthed from loss, and restoration demands self-giving. What parent, teacher, or neighbor hasn't felt the burn of sacrifice, missing sleep to comfort a child, absorbing a friend's grief, working odd jobs to keep a family afloat? We all know phoenix work, even if we've never called it that. Legend never says whether the Fenghuang regrows its feathers, whether it ever returns to the same field. Perhaps sacrifice means not seeing the result yourself. What matters is that in the human heart, the story recurs whenever selflessness cools the world's heat. That's why the bird's fiery myth outlives the details of dynasty or emperor. It links the cosmic scale, saving nations, to the everyday, a reminder that the greatest hope may come not from power, but from simple acts of restoration, large and small. So the next time rain follows a moment of exhaustion, or peace follows someone's sleepless night, maybe that's your own local phoenix, unseen but real enough to matter. Every culture invents super teams for moments of crisis. China's is a celestial flock. Legends say the Fenghuang has 9 children, each a specialist, arriving when a town or family lacks something urgent. Picture a map of ancient China. In one village, granaries are empty. Jin Feng flies in, singing millet onto the wind and gold into harvest. In another, blight and fire have ruined the soil. Huofeng turns ashes back into green. Clouds refuse to cross the mountains. Laniao beats thunder into rain. After war, when everyone's heart is numb, Caifeng brings back laughter and love. Kongqie shields the small from bullies. Dapeng breeds ambition into reluctant hands. Shuihuang restores honesty where rumor reigns. Langhuang cools anger before it curdles into vengeance. And Dafeng, the wildest, overthrows whatever is holding back renewal. Each legend begins with a diagnosis. What's missing? Then the right bird swoops in, not as a savior, but as an instigator, a catalyst for virtue. The lesson even a child can grasp. Renewal is a team effort. No one bird or person does it all. In business, community, even family life, these old stories track. Does your group need courage or relief or reform? Do they yearn for love or honest dialogue? The legend surfaces anew whenever we tackle collective problems. A mix of engineers, artists, mediators, and disruptors, the Phoenix myth is a management playbook, a therapist's toolkit, a festival of virtues. When people wish for the Fenghuang's children to visit, they're hoping for not just temporary relief, but lasting transformation, a flock of virtues restoring wholeness to a broken world. And somewhere within, they suspect every crisis could be an invitation for one of those 9 to nest, at least for a while, in their own story. Now picture southern China, 4th century BCE. The Chu dynasty's rituals unfold by moonlight, not sunlight. Mysterious, lush with music and shadow. Here, in the hush between worlds, the phoenix is a guide, not for emperors, but for the departed. In one ancient tomb, archaeologists find bronze mirrors, each etched with rippling feathers and cloud patterns. Around the coffin's compass points, tiny phoenix amulets glint, placed to guide a spirit's first journey beyond death. A GPS by myth, an emotional insurance policy in the face of oblivion. At night, in forest clearings and beside wide rivers, feather-robed shamans dance to the clash and ring of stone chimes and bells, imitating the bird's flight. They chant songs meant to coax the Fenghuang from hiding, hoping for a vision. In those visions, the phoenix arrives to open invisible doors, ghost roads, along which the soul travels safely to the ancestral realm. Other cultures imagine similar travel guides, but Chu's focus feels practical and intimate. Not about power, but about love and memory. Across every language, people want the same assurance as Chu villagers. When loved ones disappear into silence, something good still waits beyond. Where the northern court wielded the Fenghuang as a tool of political legitimacy, here in the south, children saw it as comfort, a hand extended in darkness. 2 murals show families sending their dead forward, helped by the phoenix's compass and wing. For viewers today, the next time you stand by a grave or remember a loss, know that the hope for guidance, for safe passage, is ancient. And the phoenix legend was there first, carrying souls along moonlit roads toward peace. The 20th century brings storms. The flames of revolution sweep through China, toppling emperors, smashing feudal superstitions. The Fenghuang itself disappears from official ceremonies, its name whispered only at weddings or hidden in embroidery tucked near a bride's heart. Then, a new era dawns. In 2008, artist Xu Bing welds together 2 titanic phoenixes from Beijing's discarded scaffolding. Steel rods, hard hats, shattered tiles of construction dust. They look battered yet majestic, wings poised for flight above a modern city. He calls it Phoenix, and crowds flock to stare. Here is the ancient story, adapted for a world of cranes, smog, and skyline ambition. A myth not just for emperors, but workers, students, dreamers. Yet the legend won't be locked in steel or canvas. Walk through a crowded Shanghai market, and you'll spy the dragon and phoenix twined on shop fronts, noodle bowls, ads for phone plans. Children learn phoenix tales in school, and on festival nights, dancers in fevered parades will paper phoenixes ablaze with LED light. The secret to survival isn't just resurrection, it's reinvention. The Fenghuang never needed fire because it changed shape. Adapting from court oracle to folk hero, imperial to industrial, always offering meaning no matter the context. When a disaster strikes, stories circulate online. We need a phoenix's visit. When families celebrate, they toast to dragon-phoenix harmony. In modern China and beyond, people keep resetting the myth for new times, new challenges. And so, the phoenix's truest magic emerges. The ability to continually shapeshift, to survive by renewing not just the world, but the very language of hope and belonging. Let's return to that misty dawn in 1368 with Zhu Yuanzhang at his father's grave. Did a real bird descend? Or was it just hope, collective and urgent, stepping onto the stage? The Fenghuang, judge of kings, comforter of souls, inspiration for lovers, and engine of change, is more than a bird. It's a mirror. We measure ourselves against its story. Are we worthy of harmony? Will we risk loss to spark renewal? Or share our bright pearl instead of hiding it? In every hardship, every collective crisis, the lure endures. Maybe, if we're wise and brave enough, heaven or history will send a sign. Every time someone gives more than they can afford, transforms sorrow into art, or leads a community toward wholeness, perhaps a feather, real or mythic, comes loose. The legend lives whenever we rise above ourselves, refusing to let memory or hope die. So what's your phoenix moment? Share below. You never know whose drought your feather might end.